Let me paint a picture for you. A customer says, "This brand gets me." That's not satisfaction. That's identity alignment. And that's where real loyalty lives, where it happens, where it breathes. This week, we're joined by Christina Garnett, a fractional chief customer officer, brand empathy evangelist, and soon to be author of Transforming Customer Brand Relationships, to talk about the difference between being liked and being loved by your customers. If your brand's still chasing loyalty with faster shipping or clever copy, this one is your wake-up call. You're definitely going to want to listen. Welcome to the Social Media CX podcast, where social media meets customer experience and where all fires, no rainbows is the current reality for most brands. I'm Brooke Sellis, CEO of B Squared Media, and I am on a mission to change that. Social media can be the MVP of your CX strategy, and I'm here to show you how. Each week, we'll tackle the challenges of social care head-on with candid interviews, real-world case studies, and actionable advice to turn your social channels into loyalty-building, revenue-driving dopamine machines. Whether you're managing customer complaints, trying to engage meaningfully, or just tired of missing DMs, this podcast is your guide to putting out the fires and building the rainbows. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Social Media CX podcast. Today, I am joined by a longtime dear friend who I admire so much because she's doing all the things for community and CX. Christina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I heart you back. So thanks for having me.
This will be really fun because I think we align in a lot of ways on how we
Yes.
feel about customer experience. But
Yes.
First things first, tell everybody about you and what it's like to be you, because Christina has this really interesting job title and she started her own company, so kudos there. But you're a Pocket Chief Customer Officer. Like, what does that mean? And walk us through what you do for brands.
Absolutely. So I left the corporate world and I like having a toe in the corporate sphere, but I am not a corporate girly. And so when I left to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up in my second adulthood, essentially, I started thinking about a lot of the people that I talked to in my career. And a lot of times I had people saying, "I'd love to steal you, but I know I couldn't afford you." Or, "I'd love to steal you."
I'm pretty sure I said that to you.
Yeah, "I'd love to steal you, but we don't have a full head count."
Yeah.
And I always heard something to the effect of, "I wish I could just have you in my pocket and I could pull you out whenever I needed you." And so that's why Pocket CCO exists, is because I'm a fractional CCO. I work with brands and agencies who know and care about the customer and care about the community that they're building, but know that they either aren't at a stage where they're going to need a full-time person, but they know that they need someone who's going to be embedded, who's deeply going to care and is going to get the job done. And so I do consulting, advisory in addition to that. But the two main companies I work with are New Motion and Hey Orca. New Motion is a brilliant creative agency. They just won a Webby for their work with Salesforce, won a Hermes Creative Award for their work with Toast, and just really brilliant creatives coming together to make the best work. And so I love working with them. I also work with Hey Orca, another brilliant team. You're going to see a theme here. I love working with brilliant people. And so I work with the Hey Orca team. I'm their chief community officer, and I work with them to see, like, how are we actually building and connecting and really not only building community for their stands, which are their like top customers and fans, but also like how are they driving this community for social media managers, even if they're not a customer, and how are they really pushing the envelope with the conversation around social media and community, especially when there's so many other conversations about being AI first right now. And Orca is very much like, we're going to be human. We can use AI, but we're going to really focus on the human. And so
Yes.
I love that. So that's probably the biggest theme is I love taking care of customers, love taking care of community, and love working with brilliant people. Myself included.
And big news for you. Amazing news. I'm so excited for you. You have a book coming out.
I do. I have a book. It's on transforming customer brand relationships and what does that take? And you know this, there's There's so many conversations happening, but it tends to live in this like CS bubble. Like customer connectivity and the brand relationship only exist with like their CSM. And yes, it exists there, but exists so much outside of that too. And so when we think about CX, we really need to be thinking about the bigger picture and all the teams that there's teams that are not even customer facing that are directly impacting the CX of your customers, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And so how can we get all of those people to the table to be talking to each other, to de-silo their work, to knowledge share, so that we can actually be driving really thoughtful conversations, making improvements, creating progress that's going to help the brand, but also the customers.
I love that you said that because I feel like in customer care for social, a lot of times we call it social care, social customer care. People automatically assume it's all about retention, right? It
Yeah,
lives in
no.
customer support. And I'm like, no, it
Yeah.
actually is very heavy in social selling and acquisition as well. It's the whole customer lifestyle just on digital or on
Yeah.
social.
Yeah.
And so I think that is a big myth that people like us are constantly having to bust.
Oh, absolutely. And you have to tie your work to a metric that business cares about. And it usually comes down to churn and retention. And so you have to chase that. But if you're chasing only that, then you're going to wind up doing a lot of things incorrectly. You're going to be leaping ahead and not really taking care of people. So it's
Mhm.
like if you're focused on churn, then you're also probably focused on efficiency. So it's like you have to save everybody, but you have to save everybody efficiently. So I want you to turn this customer who's deeply angry with us into a loving fan. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then next call.
Yeah.
How are you actually able to do both? Like you're not setting the customer for success. You absolutely are not setting your team up for success, all in pursuit of these metrics. And what's wild is, and I've seen this time and time again, is there's this like magical number that you're supposed to hit, but it's
Mm.
so that it can live in a deck somewhere. So it can be like shared on a Zoom meeting. And I was like, there's a lot of headaches and migraines being created because that one magic number is or is not hit for a deck.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Wild to me.
Y
And you need to be more holistic about it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, like, it's a much bigger picture, we're so, like, drilled in a lot of different marketing and sales departments, but we need to all pull out and then work together.
Yeah.
Um, I hope this isn't weird, but I'm gonna quote you from something that you said on LinkedIn that I love, and
Okay.
then I wanna talk because 'cause we're talking about loyalty, and you talk about the loyalty myth, and so I
Yeah.
wanna talk about this. Okay, your quote said, "Customer loyalty isn't earned through discounts, faster delivery, or clever copy alone. Anyone can do that."
Mhm.
So dissect that for me because it sounds like brands are mistaking convenience for connection, if I'm right.
They absolutely are. They absolutely are. And they think because you choose them once, you'll choose them again. That is absolutely not true. It is a relationship. We're so focused on technology and AI and like how we're doing all these things that we forget that we want these relationships, but we don't treat them like relationships. Like you as a brand are doing the bare minimum, but you want love and devotion for the bare minimum. So I promised them this service at this price. I gave them this service at this price. They should love me. No, they just got what they paid for. Like
Yeah.
the end, like beginning and the end, right there. I find that everyone's looking for a strategic advantage. Everybody, every brand, we know what a red ocean is. We know what we need to be thinking about. But what we're doing is we're looking for the easiest moat to build, not realizing you got to actually build the moat. You're going to have to dig. You're going to have to make sure it doesn't hurt like the building it's around. You got to add water, maybe some crocodiles if you're a Bond villain. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's going to take effort. So if you think like one social media post, even if it goes viral, is going to transform the emotional connection you have with your brand, it isn't. Because even that's short-lived. Even then, you
Yes.
still have to show up. Like you could have a viral, and there's been some really like heart-tugging, emotional, lovely social posts that go online and they go viral and they completely change how people see that brand. But if it's not how that brand lives and breathes on a daily basis, it'll take just one or two people to be like, this is a PR stunt. I'm a customer. That's not how they take care of
We've
you.
seen it. We've literally seen these
Yeah.
conversations unfold on social. We've
Yeah.
watched this happen not once,
Yeah.
not twice. Yeah.
You have to
Why do
live
you
it.
think? Why do you think so many brands stop at "it works" or "this is the way we've always done it" or "I trust how we're doing it now, so I'm not interested in looking more broadly"?
I think there's still a lot of companies who don't even do that. So
Sad.
there's a lot of companies who still don't do what they said they were going to do. So there is the argument that the bare minimum is still more than maybe your competitor.
True.
But what happens if they step up? What happens if they get acquired and like the entire team structure changes and they start showing up? What happens if that person that wasn't showing up but now has the new shiny product that everyone can't stop talking about? There's so many variables you can't control that could flip that strategy completely off its kilter. You need to do more than bare minimum. You need to be fostering those relationships because that is something that will be sticky. That is something that can stay, that can actually be a moat. But that takes a lot of investment. And like all relationships, it's also going to take time. And that's the one thing brands don't want to spend.
They don't.
They'll spend millions of dollars on an ad campaign, but their CEO can't give you 30 minutes to talk to the biggest customer they have. It's wild to
No.
me.
Why yell? Yes.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. But I find that if you want relationships, you need to treat them like you would a human and that you want a relationship with. How are you going to show up for them when things are good? How are you going to show up for things when things are bad? How are you going to make them feel seen? Are you going to check on them because you thought of them, not because you need something, not because you need to borrow money, you need their truck to help you move, but I was just thinking about you. I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
How many times have you had a brand reach out to you in any kind of way and was like, I got nothing to sell you. I just wanted to hope you have a good day.
I
I
mean,
can't name any. I
point
can't.
oh 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 1% of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, like Chewy is the only brand
Chewy is
that
who I was
really
thinking
comes
of.
to mind.
Yes.
Like they're God tier to me, where they have relationships with their customers because they show up like a human, the way a
Yes.
human
Yes.
had a relationship with them would. Like
Yeah.
the pet dies, they're not just going to have a script that's trying to retain you as a customer. They'll send flowers, might send a card, might send a little painting of your pet. That's something a friend does, a dear friend, not even we hang out every now and
Acquaintance.
then.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
someone who actually is like, this person's really hurting. I want to be there for them. I can't think of many brands that do that, but Chewy shows up and they continue to do that, which means that's a part of their DNA. And so when brands are thinking about like their tone of voice, their how they show up, their logo, their brand house, their all these other things, I'd love to just add like a tiny little like turret that's like, how do you show up for them as a human? Like, how is it different?
But
How do you show up when it's not
yes.
a brand? It's actually
Yes.
human. And not in the brand is going to talk like Gen Z on Twitter or TikTok kind of way,
Yeah.
but actually be human. Like maybe it's an actual person that's on the team that's sharing their name but like, how are you actually showing up in a human way? I think that's important to ask and have it be like a tiny little chimney or something on the brand house.
Let's talk about that because what does emotional payoff look like to you in these customer interactions? Give everybody listening some examples from the brands that you work with or maybe some
Yeah.
brands that you've seen. Like what does this emotional payoff look like? How can they do this? What's the tactical piece of that?
I think something really beautiful that I've been seeing is Toast. So Toast is a POS. They work with restaurants and they deeply care about restaurants. And they have this campaign called It's the Little Things. And it talks about how it's the little things that you're doing, very similar to what we're talking about. It's the little things that add
Mhm.
up to be like, I get you, I see you, I appreciate you. And they worked with Keith Lee and they gave back. They had a giveaway for these restaurants. And probably the most obvious emotional payoff I've ever seen is Keith Lee going to these restaurants that he loves, that he's supported, and to be able to give them like, here's Toast for a year and here's $50,000. And to see the look on their face, it's immediate tears because this isn't a campaign, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
It's transformative. And these people feel seen and appreciated in a way that most brands don't. And so I think that campaign I love that campaign. And the Toast team is wonderful to work with. We work with them at New Motion and they're absolutely incredible. I can't say anything but lovely things about them. But that's what it is. It's like when you care and you think about how you show up, the emotional payoff will happen because you're being human, because
Yes.
you actually care. Like it bleeds through. It can't help but bleed through.
Yeah.
And so I would say look at that. And like even partnering with Keith Lee, because he is such a lovely human. He has helped so many businesses and really come from a place of honesty and integrity and authenticity to show up and be like, you know what, I do want to work with you. And I want to help be a part of this. Like, how do we transform restaurants and restaurants? Like, how do we completely change their life? And so it's just a really beautiful way. And so I think if you haven't seen Toast's Keith Lee videos, check those out because you get to see the emotional payoff. It's the most human thing you're going to see today.
We will include links to some of those videos in the show notes. And the show notes, y'all, if you're listening, live on YouTube. So you can always watch these podcasts on YouTube. We have show notes. That's where you're going to find Christina's book, how to connect with her, but also we will share some of these Toast videos so that everybody can see them. And then what I'm hearing, I almost have a mini exercise for y'all who are listening and want to participate from what Christina just said. You can use social media. It doesn't have to be big. I say this all the time. I said this in my book too. A lot of people, brands, think that CX is rolling out the red carpet for every single customer, and that feels scary. It feels big. It feels like you can't scale that. And we're talking about micro moments. We're talking about little tiny micro moments that lead to some of these bigger payoffs or rolling out the red carpet. So your homework, if you're listening and you want to try this out, go revisit your last few social media replies. What you responded. Please tell me you're responding, by the way. But go look at the replies.
Going back to the bare minimum conversation.
Please tell me. If not, start there. But step 2, if you are responding, go look at the DMs. Go look at your replies. And ask yourself, is this creating a feeling or am I just serving a function? Facts. We talk about facts a lot as brands. Those are features of your products, right? That's just a fact. Facts don't move the relationship forward. Feelings do. Did you create a feeling? Or did you talk about like features and facts and functions? That's my homework for you. Are you ready to master social media customer experience? My online course, Mastering Social Media CX, gives you a step-by-step blueprint to turn conversations into conversions. And just for you, my podcast listeners, you get an exclusive 60% off. Yeah, 60%. All you have to do is use the code SMCX, as in social media customer experience at checkout. Don't miss your chance to level up your social care game. Head on over to B2Media/courses and start transforming your strategy today. All right, so I want to bring it back to customer experience for a second and talk about the daily public emotional face of your brand. Because it seems large and in charge, and it is, but it's not insurmountable. Because if you have the right team in place, your community managers, your social agents, your customer experience team or reps, your social support reps, your customer support reps, your whatever it is, right? They're the only humans that your customers talk to.
Yep.
So
they're also the first ones who get laid off usually, which I have a massive issue with.
Same. Always the first to go, especially when times are tough. And I'm like, wait. Anyways, like that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
but
that's another podcast.
Talk about this emotional face of your brand and how you actually have this army of people within your company, probably right now, unless you're a very small company, which by the way, then it's you. It's almost easier, right? In my opinion. Talk about that. What is that like? What is the mindset shift to understand that you have that front line ready to go to battle for you and you're just not utilizing it?
A lot of brands are risk averse. And so when they think about empowering their teams, letting them have a personal brand, letting them show up as a human face for a brand, they see all the risks and none of the payoff. When you have someone that has a personal brand and you hire them into your company, whether you want them to have that personal brand or not, whether you try to cut them off and say, you need media training and you can't do a podcast or you can't do a thing without getting approval, there's still going to be people who know that person, who know they're attached to your brand and are going to at them on social, who are going to flag them in immediately to make sure they see things. They're going to be associated with you, whether you like it or not, whether you try to control them or not. So I would ask you, you need to be okay with employee advocacy and employee empowerment. It is honestly your secret weapon that a lot of brands are actually shooting themselves in the foot over.
Yes.
If you are afraid of what that could look like, then that's training that you can provide.
Yes.
And help build, like, that's a social engine that you can then create for your team. That's speakers that are going to be at conferences you don't have to sponsor because they were asked to go. That's free money. That's free exposure. You're going to have people who have a human face associated with your brand. And so they know who to talk to. And if they don't want to talk to a chat bot, they can be like, I'm just going to at Brooke and she's going to help me. And what that does is it shows over and over again for all the lurkers in the chat, it's going to show that there's a real human that's going to talk to me, that actually cares and sees this as a part of their job, like actually will like respond to me and be nice and is okay if I slide into their DMs. Like, give them the media training then. Like, have it be a part of like onboarding to the company. Be like, we are not afraid of you having a personal brand, but let's guide you so you can be as successful as possible.
Yes.
Like here, let's say you want to have a personal brand, you want to be a speaker, you want to be a thought leader, you want to be whatever. Here's some media training. So you have like basic PR 101, some comms 101, here's what we would frown on. So now you're getting into like conduct that you can like completely prevent because they'll know, like maybe don't go on LinkedIn and yell at people. That's a class everyone needs to have. Like maybe don't start fights on LinkedIn.
Oh,
Maybe. Just maybe don't cuss.
oh,
Whatever.
yeah.
Or if you're going to cuss, make that thing be private. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But setting the ground rules and saying, we want you to be successful. Here's some no's. Here's some big yeses, though. And here's how we want you to be successful. And then here's how we're going to empower you so that if you want to be the face of the company, we can absolutely do that. Here's deck templates. So you don't have to rebuild the wheel and you don't have to argue with our brand team. It's all structured for you. It's all ready to go. Oh, you want to talk at this conference? Great. Maybe we can help set that up for you. I see so many teams at companies where you can tell the PR and comms team works because you can see their C-suite everywhere, but no one else can get a foot in the door. Imagine your entire company being seen as an opportunity for speakers.
That would be amazing.
That's free publicity. That's free mentions. That's positive sentiment. That's human connection. That's people like, and especially if one of those people looks like them, like this person at the company not only is human, but they look like me.
Yep.
I relate to them. So that's a deeper level. And so that will give you scale, but more importantly, it'll give you depth.
Yes. What you are describing is so underutilized.
Yes.
Employee advocacy programs, this type of thought process around your front line essentially is literally how you train for scale. Just like you said, this is emotional resonance at scale. This is empathy at scale. This is branding at scale. It's literally the answer to so many things. It just drives me nuts that we even have to beg to have people listen to these things.
They want to do it. If you get hired, they'll say, here's the new banner for your LinkedIn.
Yeah,
like,
great.
But maybe don't post about us. Or maybe only share the CEO's tweet.
Or put that little snippet in your bio that says, the opinions are my own and not those of my company.
They're like, that's not enforceable, but whatever.
But it also just, as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh, I have an immediate ick about that company.
You've had your hand slapped.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think that's really important to think about because you want what they could give you. But I find that it's this risk aversion, but also this scarcity mindset. What happens if someone blows up and goes viral, even if it's for good reasons? Does that mean I need to promote them? Does that mean that they should be higher up in the company? What does that mean? Instead of just building a team where everybody at every layer is an all-star. Like you want a rock star, but you don't want to build any. They got to come in prepackaged. They got to come in guitar in hand.
The unicorn.
The unicorn. We don't make unicorns. We find them.
Sure.
And then we turn them back into horses again.
Yeah. And then we rip their horns off their heads.
Yeah. And so it's like, what if you were in the business of empowering your horses so they could become unicorns? What if you were a unicorn factory? And then now that's that's every layer feels empowered. That's every layer feels connected to the brand and wants to stay because this brand is investing in me and not in a, like, you can take a 500 course kind of way, but in a, No, I'm getting opportunities that no other brand would give me. I'm getting opportunities to speak. I'm getting opportunities to be on a webinar. I'm like all these things. You're showcasing that no matter who you are within the brand, you have a voice, you have a perspective that's worth sharing, you have a perspective that's worth being appreciated for. That is a huge like employee retention that also makes your customers feel good because they can tell when the team that they work with is not being treated well. Because
Oh,
eventually,
yeah.
like, you can tell when someone's burned out, and then you're just like the customer being like,
Girl,
"You okay?"
I'm picking up what you're putting down, and that's all we can need to say there. But yeah. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about the future of loyalty in your book. I'm very
Yeah,
excited, obviously, about your
yeah.
book, and I think everybody should read it. I think I want to buy a copy for our whole team. It's coming out in September.
Yes.
Can you give us a sneak peek preview, something, how we're going to, what's happening in the book that you're
Yeah.
allowed to share that's talking about what we're talking about now, which is like emotional loyalty?
Yeah. So the book has 3 parts. So the first part is all of the moving pieces that are usually de-siloed or decoupled that really play a role and kind of the mechanics behind all of that. So I talk about game theory and the customer journey. I talk about behavioral science. I talk about social media and customer care and the metrics that you need to be thinking about. I talk about advocacy and fandoms and all of these moving pieces. But then I also talk about in the second piece, all of those things are not talking to each other. They're not working together. They're normally like siloed or may
Yeah.
not even be a part of your team. There might be like one person on your team that's like like a behavioral psychology nerd. And if you're not on that team, you don't know what they're talking about or what they're sharing or like all of the highlights.
Yeah.
The answer to de-siloing, like the solution. So you're like, Christina, this is great, but like the team doesn't talk. How do I get them to talk? It's community. Community is the de-siloing agent. And a lot of people think about community from like a customer perspective. No, think about it in a everybody's welcome at the table. Like everybody's coming to the table. So
Yeah.
it's a way to not only connect your internal team to your customers, it's a way to connect your internal team to your internal team.
Because it starts there.
Because it starts there. And once
Yeah.
you build a place where everyone can come together, where it doesn't matter if you're like an intern or a C-suite, where everyone can come together and learn and talk and collaborate, then you're going to see massive knowledge sharing. And when you see knowledge sharing, everyone, all boats rise.
Yeah.
And then the third chapter, or not the third chapter, but the third part is what happens when things go wrong. So we've built all this, but what happens when things falter? So we're talking about PR crisis. We're talking about like, how do you handle comms? How do you build for that?
Yeah.
How is AI completely disrupting how we talk to each other and how we connect? How should you think about change management? Because think about it this way. Let's say that you have a beloved brand, but it just gets acquired by a brand that no one likes.
Oof. Yeah. That's a
That's
toughie.
that's change management you're going to have to navigate.
Yeah.
And how do you talk about it internally, externally? What decisions are made? Is the nice brand going to influence the bad brand, or is the nice brand going to falter and die and be like absorbed? You never know, but like, how do you have those conversations? How do
Yeah.
you not lose the customers who are very clear about both brands and like how they feel about them? And so it really comes down to you have all these moving pieces. You have emotion and connection at the heart of it. And then it's not always going to be a shiny day. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. So what do you have to prepare for when things go bad? When Duolingo is going through a whole crisis comms things right now.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were deeply beloved. They connected because they were like hyper human chaos. And then they went AI first, which went counter to that. And then now the sentiment's in the toilet. And now
Yeah.
they're having to navigate like, how do we salvage this relationship? Because that's what it is. How do we salvage this relationship with people who feel betrayed? They feel like we've lied to them. Who feel like
Yeah.
we aren't who we thought they thought we were.
Yeah. It was a campaign. It was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all those things, it really comes down to as technology improves and advances and is in more and more of our daily lives, you are going to still see these nuggets of need for humanity and
Yes.
connection and relationships and people caring about others.
More
Like,
so, I think.
yes, and it's never going to go away. It's just going to be, it's honestly going to be harder to find it. I think human connection is turning into what third spaces has been for so many of us, especially North America. Europe does a really great job. Like every time I go to Europe, I feel so much better because I can't go a day without going to a third space. Like I get to go to a place where I can connect and I don't have to spend money, but I can meet new people and I can have fun and I can like talk and do whatever. I think you're going to see that as those have been eroded and commodified. I think you're going to see the same thing with humanity. And so we are going to strive and crave the real. Like someone sent me a video of Google's new video capabilities and was like, I need your take on this. And I was like, I feel really good about stage. I feel really good about Broadway and the West End, because if I can't trust video, then and also like the acting isn't very good in those videos. I'm going to go for like, where do I know there are humans and emotion and power and passion? I'm going to go to Broadway. I'm going to go to the West End. I'm going to watch a local play.
Yes.
I'm going to go for the stuff that I know is real. And so I think as we continue to do AI, and I'm not anti-AI, I'm just very pro human experience.
Sure.
I think we need to be very thoughtful about, we are still going to have this human necessity to not be alone, but it's going to be harder to find how to cure that and like where to go to get it. And so companies who make a point to stay human are going to have an advantage because they're showcase, and like you can use AI and be pro-human. Like it doesn't have to be an either or. And how are you showing up as human? How are you choosing what AI touches and what AI doesn't touch? How are you championing your team, your creatives, the people who are at the heart of what makes you human?
I love it. Obviously, I'm always drinking your Kool-Aid.
We're very aligned.
But if you can boil this all down, for everybody who's listening or watching, what's the one word thing, just one word, that they should be thinking about after every customer interaction?
Satisfaction.
On the other side.
Well, the thing is that satisfaction is a trap. Because satisfaction does not mean good. It means good enough.
Oh.
But good enough until what? So like I was satisfied. So think about the last time you did a review.
Yeah.
It's usually because of an extreme. It's either I loved it, that was amazing, it was a religious experience eating that pasta, or I hated it, I almost got in a fight in the parking lot. Like it's very extreme.
Right.
Very few people will do a satisfaction thing. And if they do, they never say satisfied. It's usually like, it was mid. It was mid. So like, it wasn't good enough for me to rave about, but it wasn't bad enough for me to leave.
Yeah.
And I think that like, when we look at, because we talked about churn earlier, when you think about the people who staying does not mean happy. Staying does not mean loyal.
It just means they're satisfied.
It just means they're satisfied until a better price comes along, until a better product comes along, until more features come along. Like they're so easy to steal. So when you think about NPS, like in the world of CX, like we're going to talk about NPS, everyone will focus on the positive and the negative. The positive, okay, you're being promoters. Maybe you can be an advocate. Maybe you can do a customer story. Oh, you're angry. Maybe like we need to do like a fire drill and we need to figure out what's wrong, but they ignore the middle.
Yeah.
Why is satisfied good enough, but then you ignore the NPS where people are satisfied? That's actually where all the opportunity is, because those are the people who are one task away from leaving or one task away from like becoming your next advocate, your biggest fan. Yeah. But people ignore them like a middle child because they're satisfied. Satisfied's a trap.
Yes, I love it. It's like the book. I don't know if any of y'all listening or watching have read it, but it's your ABC players. And it talks about like your A players are A players. We spend a lot of time there, but like they don't need our help.
Yeah.
The C players, okay, but really focus on the Bs, because the Bs are the easiest ones to move up to As. Anyways, I love it. Tell us one more time what your book is called. Transforming Customer and
Brand Relationships.
Transforming Customer and Brand Relationships?
Customer brand relationships.
Customer brand relationship. It's coming out in September. We're going to post a link. I'm doing this if you're watching the show. If you're watching, I'm pointing down, but on YouTube, go to the show notes. We will have a link to Christina's book. We will have a link to where to find Christina on LinkedIn. That's where we all hang out.
Yep.
And I can't thank you enough for joining us, talking about the book, laying it down. I could talk to you all the time. It's easy with you.
Same. Thanks for having me. It was lovely. It was lovely.
Thank you so much. I can't wait for your book. And y'all, please go follow Christina on LinkedIn because she says all of these wonderful things all the time, like on the daily. So even if you don't read her book, but you want a dose of her knowledge like every single day, that's where you're going to find it. We'll talk to y'all next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Social Media CX podcast. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to up their social care game.